So believe it or not, I was only gonna do one video today. I did it last night. Like, yeah, I'll do what I always do when I do them at my house, which is upload them to one of my servers, and then when I get to work, I just upload it to YouTube and let it go. But I woke up this morning and saw the price of Bitcoin was $341. Now remember what I just said the other day. It was 318 or 20, somewhere around there, dollars. And when I saw it go just above 300, I think is when I did the video about what the webbot said to look for. Cliff High emailed me a while back. We were talking just a little bit back and forth, and he had mentioned that around late third week to late November, we should see a significant, in other words, notable rise in the price of silver, but that would be preceded by Bitcoin hitting somewhere around $408. Now, anyone that's been following Bitcoin for a little while now knows it's been around 240 to maybe 270, 275 for a while. And while it's within this price range is when he and I have this discussion where he's telling me data from his webbot report is showing a fairly large, a notable rise in the price of silver. But to figure out if the webbot's going to be on the right track or not, in other words, is it going to be a hit or a miss? If it's a hit, we should see Bitcoin hit around $408. And while that's taking place, right after that, I should say, you will see silver rise, according to the webbot report. Of course, the disclaimer is that this thing isn't perfect. It never has been perfect. Sometimes it gets the certain predictions perfect. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they happen later. A whole bunch of things, right? So, bottom line is that I'll go ahead and say it. I'm not going to hold my breath just to be safe. And say that I know the webbot's going to be perfectly right this time for sure. As it has been recently, I've done at least a couple of webbot hit reports on videos about it being spot on. Very recently, one of the ones was the flooding that was predicted way in advance of that hurricane coming. Floods and more floods and floods and floods and floods. We had flooding before the hurricane even got here. I showed you that the video I did. I linked to the other one, and I think I showed some stills of it in my video, which was I think Bakersfield, California. A massive flash flood took place, and it was like muddy flooding waters coming and moving cars across the highway, which I don't know if it was a major highway or an interstate. I couldn't remember what the report said or what the video was about, but I think it was an interstate. And the lady filming it's only like 2 minutes long. She's kind of freaked out. Oh my God, oh my God, the cars are moving, they're being pushed. It was scary. So that was one. And then the hurricane comes across Mexico and all that South American area, and Texas started flooding, and I don't know if it was Illinois or somewhere else was flooding because of those bans, big major bans from that hurricane coming in. Tons of flooding was happening there. This is all said in advance of that hurricane even being known. And the first flooding was in Bakersfield, California. Had nothing to do with that hurricane. Just crazy flash floods all of a sudden. So I know people could argue, well, that one hit in Bakersfield, come on, that's one flooding. That can happen anywhere in America. Webbot just got lucky. Okay. Then the hurricane came right after that and sealed the deal. How about that? Okay, maybe that's not lucky. So there was another one. I'm trying to think what the other one was just recently. But anyways, I'm waking up today after seeing Bitcoin 240, 250, 260, 270-ish, back and forth, bouncing around. Cliff High tells me if silver's going to make this big move, which it looks like it is according to the report, in late November, then we should see Bitcoin rising, and the key number I'm looking for Bitcoin's around 408. And I think he said it was actually 408 to 418 or something like that was the range. So all of a sudden I see, oh, Bitcoin's over 300 bucks. Oh my gosh, Bitcoin's over, 318. Oh my gosh, it's 322. It's 328. I'm watching this day after day. I only did the one video so far about it, when it was in the early stages of just over $300, telling you what he had told me through the WebBot report data to look for. So I wake up today, it's $341. I think you got like 60 or so more dollars to go before we breach 400, 401. Like, that's it. It was just 260, 270. It's now 341 in a matter of days. Huh. So naturally I would say, I think the WebBot might be onto something. Maybe we're gonna see, after all, that silver price rise once and for all. And although he didn't have a number that he gave me of what he thinks the data is showing silver would go to, or when this happens, at late November or even sometime in December, like after it started rising, let's say. But honestly, it's pointless to even care. Actually, all I want to know is when is that silver going to start making its move? We've been waiting and waiting and waiting. We knew it was coming. We knew it would happen sooner or later. And I'm just thinking, can you imagine? I don't know if it was Bull Pony or someone else was saying that they are actually forecasting silver at somewhere around $60 before the end of the year. Or maybe it was Bull Pony who said late November, that was his time frame too. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I know I was just talking about some of his videos and stuff he said, but I can't remember if that's one of the things he said. I know somebody did. I think it might have been him. So anyways, we've got Bitcoin at 341. It's looking like we are going to have a WebBot hit. I mean, that's just it. It is looking like we're going to have a WebBot hit here in the near future. Again, I wasn't even going to do this video. I just felt like I'll just do the one. And then I woke up and saw that price and said, well, I think I need to say something. Because if he's forecasting Bitcoin reaching $400 in the first place, that in itself is a WebBot prediction. To say that when Bitcoin hasn't cracked 300 since July and is now well over 300, and he said this way in advance, and here it is happening, that in itself is a WebBot hit. But the one hit we're all concerned with mostly is that silver part. Is silver going to follow Bitcoin? Because his prediction said Bitcoin would rise first, and when it got to a little over $400, silver would go up. So, remains to be seen, of course. As I said, I'm not going to hold my breath on any of this stuff, because, you can't. But, boy, it sure seems like it's a WebBot hit in the making if I'm not crazy. And I don't think I'm crazy, and I think if someone says, look for this, this, or this, and then it happens, I'm pretty certain I can say, they said that in the future, with no reason to even say that, and got it right, just after getting another thing right, the floods, and then something else after that as well. So, we're, November 2nd, we've got 3 weeks or so to wait. Not a whole long period of time. Of course, we also have November 3rd and 5th right around the corner. Those mysterious numbers on the cover of the Economist magazine. Some people, including myself, have speculated that the club needs another 9/11, and based off of where the new location of the Federal Reserve is, from moving from New York to Chicago, just by chance they went to Chicago. You've got the CME group that controls the commodities market in Chicago, which means they're the ones that rig the prices of all commodities, including gold and silver, every day. So out of every other state in the entire United States of America, it appears that the club would do well if they went after Chicago and caused a false flag attack. And I did watch that movie that I told you about the other day. What the hell is it called? Something 2015. I mentioned it to you guys the other day, and I watched it. Let me see if it's in my email, just so I can tell you what the movie was. Yeah, it's here. Actually, this was another one. It's about that chick that finds the little hard drive. Let me see if it's in this other one. Hold on. No, I think I already deleted it. But someone sent me something. He said, hey, check this out. He says, here's 2 more reasons I believe that could validate your thoughts on Chicago being the next false flag that the elite hit. Number 1, didn't the Fed move its main offices from New York City to Chicago fairly recently? And the answer is yes. Number 2, didn't Chicago hold some kind of international powwow several years ago that they closed down the city, virtually having a citywide martial law or something? That I don't know about. And 3, didn't Rahm Emanuel, who was part of Obama's cabinet in the beginning, leave a nice cushy job with him to go and be the mayor of Chicago, so that maybe he could oversee of any events that would come in the future? Just asking, you know. So, all good points. All very good points. And then you have this hacker named Guccifer, he calls himself, who's locked up in Romania for hacking a politician, who said he hacked the Bush family, the Rockefeller family, the Pentagon, all kinds of high-level places. People in the hacking community apparently say he's the real deal. He's not just saying that. This is not some person trying to get, you know, famous points or cool points for saying it. He is that dude. And I think it was the New York Times wanted to interview him fairly recently. Well, within a year or so. And he said, I'll do the interview, because he was allowed to do it through the prison he was in, I guess, in Romania. But he said, I'll do the interview on one condition. You must publish what I want to say here, right now what I want to say, in your magazine. And of course, I have people on the outside who are going to tell me that they went and got the magazine to make sure it was in there. And if you do that, sure, I'll do the interview. Now, I don't recall what he wanted them to say in the magazine, or what he wanted them to print. But they did do it. So he did do the interview. And during the interview, America comes up in his discussion, or in the interview, and he says, from what he gathered hacking into the Bush family, the Rockefeller family especially, there's going to be an attack, another 9/11 type of attack on American soil in the year 2015. And it would either be in Chicago or Pennsylvania. And I thought about that and said, oh, you gotta be kidding me. What are the chances that that damn state that I've been thinking about all this time, got ample evidence in my own, you know, what I've shared with you, of why I think the banker, elitist, military industrial complex club is going to attack Chicago. Think about this. If they do some kind of big triple whammy or something, and they take out the Federal Reserve, they take out the commodities market, CME group, to stop the rigging of gold and silver, which will stop that process, because they're not going to be able to deliver any gold or silver at all anymore. We all know they're running on fumes as it is. So if they pull that trigger, they can take out the Federal Reserve. They can dollar problems, right? Also, we now desperately need a world reserve currency, and we don't have one to deal with right now. Oh, but our friends the IMF have it already ready to go, and that can get us off of our failing worldwide reserve currency status, not because we're going to do it anyways, but because the terrorist attack just happened. So now we have to rush to the one world currency system, which is going to be the SDR currency, special drawing rights, by the IMF. It immediately pushes our dollar out of the way, so we don't have this major crashing of our dollar in the way that you would expect a country that's dollar is going to be failing in the near future, because you can only have fiat currency for so long. The average lifespan is 39 years, roughly, and we've been doing this for 40-something, little 43, 44 years, something like that. So we're in the time frame of your dollar's finished. Historically speaking, over and over and over again, 39 years roughly, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. And we started in 71, we removed our currency off the gold standard, we became pure fiat at that point. You add the year 71, 81, 91, 2001, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, that's 44 years. It's time, right? So imagine if the club, because as I always say, they always will destroy their evidence. They'll blame it on some other event. They're not going to default on the COMEX, or you're not going to see that. I've been saying that forever. A lot of people think that we're going to see a default on the COMEX. I don't believe so. The club doesn't work that way. So they can take out the Federal Reserve because it moved to Chicago. They can take out the commodities market because it's been in Chicago. The CME Group, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, is in Chicago. The Sears Tower, another major, which is not called that, it's called the Willis Tower or something, is a major iconic building with financial institutions inside that building. And we might find out that there's some other investigative material that was in the World Trade Center towers, but now is gone since those buildings got destroyed. They now have any other recent internal investigations being stored in Willis Tower, just like they were in World Trade Center 7. And when that building collapsed, so went the investigative material. No one else is going to get charged for any of those past crimes. I'm just speculating on this, that if the Willis Tower, or Sears Tower, whatever you want to call it, happens to have some kind of important information in there, investigative material on something, and they take the Willis Tower down, they take the Federal Reserve down, they take the CME Group and the exchange down, they will have taken care of all of their problems in one fell swoop. And we as in they can blame it on whoever they want. Iran, Syria, whoever. Doesn't matter. Pick a boogeyman. They did it with Osama bin Laden. We chased this guy around. Also, Obama got him in 2010 or 11. No, he didn't. It was completely fake. It was false. I still have a video that was like live at the time. You know, like, oh my God, I just heard the news. I'm up till 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, there's no way this is possible. There's no way they got Osama bin Laden. There's no way. Yet every channel I turn to, news channel, they've got his body as evidence. They've got next channel. They've got his body as evidence. Fox News, they've got his body as evidence. CNN, they've got his body as evidence. I'm thinking, maybe I got it wrong. God, that'd be a hard pill to swallow for me. But damn, I'm going to have to swallow that one if that's the case. I still fought it. Nope, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. That's 1 o'clock in the morning. I wake up at 7 a.m. to go to work. So 1 a.m., 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 hours later, radio on. I want to hear the news. You know it's going to be on the news and the radio. On my way to work. They've already buried his body at sea. What? They buried his. I thought they had it as evidence. I heard all night long. Evidence. They got his body as evidence. Threw him overboard at sea. You know, due to special customs in the Muslim world, they must bury a body within 24 hours. Oh, really? So when we bombed this shit out of these innocent civilians that were never the intended target, which reports from the government itself show that 90% of our intended targets aren't who they are. So, in other words, 90% of them are people that didn't deserve to die. Are we sending a ground force over there to bury them within 24 hours, especially because they're civilians? This guy was a terrorist. Who gives a shit about his rights? Nah, buried him at sea. And then all the entirety of SEAL Team 6 that went and got him has now been wiped off the face of the earth. Plane crash or helicopter crash, this one died. This fictitious SEAL Team 6 is gone. And I said this in the beginning, how do you get rid of a lie? With another lie. How do you get rid of the second lie? With a third lie. Everything that goes with a lie has to be a lie. Which means this nonsense about this entire group of SEAL team, whoever, on any Chinook helicopter or anything else, was another lie. These people never existed. So you get rid of all of it with one final lie, which is that no, the people who you'd like to interview about this are dead. You can't. It's all a lie. So, what was their method of getting rid of this? Death and destruction. Of course, it was fake. But death and destruction, get rid of all the evidence. What did they do on 9/11? Real death and real destruction. Which led us to the rest of that story. And led us to where we are right now today, with a ballooning out of control deficit, war spending like you can't believe, and the party's just getting started. So, if anyone thinks the COMEX is going to default, run by the bankers, they're going to show you, yeah, you guys were all right, and we defaulted. We don't have the gold and silver, and today's the day. We've defaulted. We can't deliver. I don't think that there's a chance in hell it'll go that smooth. Again, you will find out that some cyber attack maybe hit. Cyber attack hit the city and of Chicago, and the exchanges are down for the commodities market and whatever. But even that, you'd say, well, wait a minute. Okay, they're hacked or whatever. They've got backups and they've got everything else. And they may say, well, no, our backups got wiped out too and this and that. If they try to go down that path. If they do a terrorist attack on themselves, they can get rid of all that issue, one fell swoop, and now we've got reason to go start World War III in the Middle East, because this event was bigger than 9/11. We were losing our power. China and Russia have been taking over. China's currency is doing phenomenal all of a sudden. Again, China's the leader of the world right at this point. They've surpassed us. Middle class just recently surpassed us. The economic powerhouse of China, which we've held that title forever, has surpassed us. It's China. We're on the way out, and we don't want that. How do we deal with that? We just hand it off. Here's the reins, China. Here you go. Oh, no. Oh, no. We go out with a bang. And we want to rein control of that power back in our hands. How do we do this? What does history show us? They attack ourselves, is what history shows us. The government attacks ourselves and blames it on another entity. This isn't anything new. This isn't something of only the 21st century. This has been going on for almost forever. Some king or some leader, they do this, they get their people all riled up to go and attack some place that they know they normally couldn't attack because the people thought we were peaceful and everyone was prosperous and everything's good nowadays, and then all of a sudden this bad guy comes out of nowhere and now we got to go deal with this guy, this sicko, maniac. When really the maniac was the people running your country. You may have thought it was the king, it was his advisors. That's all from Jason 4 this morning. Take care.